What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Atriox, and we're back with another Halo video, right? We're doing a lot of Halo videos recently, but it's because I'm actually excited for Campaign Evolved. I know there are people who aren't, and like, to be honest with you, there are parts of Halo Evolved, of Campaign Evolved, that I am little worried about. I'm not gonna lie. You know, the running, sprinting, making the map bigger, adding 3 missions to the original campaign. Like, how is it gonna fit in the continuity of the actual campaign? Is it gonna take away? They say it's gonna be outside of the original campaign, but is it gonna, does that mean they're gonna take place before, or they're gonna change it to like maybe one in the beginning, one in the middle, and just have it be like a sequence where it's like, you know, back, like kind of like a flashback memory type thing? It might be that, I feel like, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about the whole them adding sprinting and making maps bigger for playing campaign. Did they have 4-player campaign back then? I don't think they did. I think it was just 2-player campaign, from what I remember off the top of my head. It has been a while since I played the original campaign on the original Xbox, but I don't know. We're gonna find out. Ackman made a video about the whole Halo thing and giving his thoughts on it. I'm sure he probably shares a lot of the same things that I have, that I'm worried about, and let's see what he has to say. Okay, might just hold on. All right, there we go. Got that figured out. So yeah, like I said, I'm sure that he has some grievances that he wants to do. I know he's excited for Halo. He loves Halo. Like I love Halo. So I'm sure he's gonna be cautiously optimistic. I saw his reaction to the actual trailer, so I know he's excited, but then like, he's also worried at the same time with certain things. But let's jump into it.
Evolved is the next project coming out of Halo Studios. It is the ultimate Halo CE campaign remake.
Right now, if you'd like, or disable it if you don't. I'm disabling it.
Halo CE campaign remake.
Let's fucking go, boys!
That was super loud.
Act-Man Halo video on main. I haven't done one of these since I talked about season 2 of the Halo TV series. Good God. It is great to be back in much better fashion this time. Welcome home, all Halo fans. Today is a glorious day. We have so much to talk about. I am fucking hyped to talk about the CE remake. Not just because I put Halo 1 as like my #2 game of all time. Just a few days ago, we had the 10-year anniversary of Halo 5. And coincidentally,
10-year
the 10-year anniversary of my channel. That game kickstarted my career and what has turned into, well, the video you're currently watching. I'm sorry if I get a little nostalgic in this video, but it feels like a lot of things are coming full circle. And we are so close to hitting 2 million subscribers. How perfect would that be to hit 2 million off of a new Halo video? If you enjoy what I do here, please consider subscribing. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, and it's totally free. It says something about the longevity of this franchise and how fucking amazing it is that the first game is still considered relevant 24 years later. It literally is a masterpiece. It's worthy of a remake.
Man, I remember Halo 1 when it first dropped with Xbox, right? So I think I was what was that, 2001? I think it was around 2001. I was like probably 11 years old, and like my uncle, I remember playing that with my uncle. Bro, that game was so much fun, bro. I love that game. And then like every time we see like the little the flood, every time he would have a shotgun, like he'd be like fucking cockroaches every time, bro. And ever since that day, I constantly say the same thing, bro. It's so crazy.
4 is a masterpiece. That's worthy of a remake. Bingo. I am all in favor of giving Combat Evolved the same remake treatment that Dead Space and RE4 got. Why it tastes so good, I think I'll buy this game a second time. Combat Evolved is one of my favorite games of all time. I have beaten it more than any other video game I've ever played, so I'm very protective of it. I mean, if you came into the bar and you said, you know what, Halo 1 sucks, I'd choke you out.
I'd punch you in the face,
bitch. However, my excitement is stifled by some pretty big concerns I have.
What is that?
We are not going full Doomer mode, but we also haven't reached Glaze City yet. I have yet to dive into, I'll be giving you my thoughts on the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly. But first, This video is sponsored by Mint Mobile. I don't know about you, but I like it when I don't have to worry.
One thing I saw in the trailer that makes me a little weird is that they're using infinite marine models. I hope they change that. I don't want to see infinite style marines in this game. Maybe it was placeholders. I hope. I really hope, because I would rather see the OG campaign. I don't know, man. I really don't want to see infinite marine models like in the campaign in combat evolved like that. Would sound good.
My wireless connection, whether I'm in hardcore gamer mode or I'm just browsing for new ship posts on my phone. Nothing is more irritating than having a bad connection. In times when companies are nickel and diming you for everything you got, Mint Mobile feels like an outlier. It's a no bullshit offer where you pay for exactly the phone plan that fits you for as cheap as 15 bucks a month. And when I was in college and having to watch my budget, you know, it felt like other providers would give you options like, yes, we've got a 5 gigabyte plan or a 75 gigabyte plan and nothing in between. The price difference is about $40 a month. What's cool about Mint Mobile is they cut out the nonsense. It's all straightforward. Pay for what you get and don't overpay for what you're not going to use. The perks are fantastic, and if you'd like to know more, just click that link in the description or pinned comment and sign up for Mint Mobile today. Thank you, Mint Mobile, for sponsoring this video.
And now for something completely different.
Alright, skip this ad right quick.
Let's start with the good.
Okay.
Blood. I love blood in my super cool space alien shooter because the aliens are all different colors, and when you shoot them, different color goop spills out and it gets splattered all over the place. The CE Remake has to be rated M. If it's not, for those reasons, I will be out. There is no PG rated alien movie, and there never should be. Likewise, there should never have been a T-rated Halo game,
and
it's
crazy.
Nice that it looks like we're getting back on
We don't talk about
track.
Halo 5, bro.
Seeing the
We don't talk
Covenant
about
bleed
it.
all over the place and have blood spraying everywhere from explosions, gunshots, it made Combat Evolved incredibly satisfying. And it also had the added benefit of making Halo not feel like plastic action figures battling on your carpet. We're shooting colorful aliens and I want to paint the walls with their blood. Also, look at the blood. I'm so glad that blood is back in the remake. Look at how, look, I painted. Do you guys like my mosaic? The Flood are all about body horror and morphing bodies into grotesque, horrific monstrosities, and you need to be willing to embrace violence and gore in order to sell that, in order to sell the Flood as something that should
because like Combat Evolved was such a dark game when you really think about it. Like, you literally get shot out of the sky. You had a whole ship full of like Marines and soldiers and like a little army, and then you're by yourself all of a sudden with Cortana, and you're going through these missions pretty much by yourself. You're dealing with the Flood. You're dealing with an alien armada trying to kill you and destroy the human race. Like, it has to be dark. It has to be dark. It needs to be mature. Like, that whole game is just such a good precedence for like how dark Halo should be. Like, and like, you were the last remaining Spartan, like, at that time. So
be feared. Another cool thing was seeing Foehammer on screen. Some used to call her the Invisible Babe. I know for non-Halo fans, Foehammer is like a glup shitto type character, but honestly, like, she was very underrated in Combat Evolved. I think the Halo CE Remake.
Dude, I remember, for people who play the game, obviously 24 years later, whatever, and when she got shot down out of the sky, I was so mad. I was so sad. I was like, oh my god, she was driving us and dropping us off in every mission, bro. Like, I felt so bad when she died.
It has a lot of potential to show us parts of the game that we didn't get to see before. Stuff like this is an opportunity to expand on Bungie's original vision of Halo in a way that enhances the experience. Cutscenes and dialogue.
Make it happen.
As I said, Halo CE, I feel like, has one of the best stories in video game history. As someone who has more or less memorized the entire script of Combat Evolved and coincidentally remained a virgin for 31 consecutive years, I love the idea of adding more script to the story I love. There is a ton of cut CE content that could and they should be restored. Nervy Destroyer has made an entire series about it, and there are so many incredible encounters Halo Studios could draw inspiration from and or recreate. But this is a very delicate balance, because recreating the magic of—
I think what he's about to say here is because, like, okay, so you have the content there, you know what is going to happen, but are you going to be able to implement it in a way that's going to be original, that's going to be basically faithful to the original story without changing it too much? Because, like, it's kind of a slippery slope when you have an old game like this that's like beloved by a huge base, and like if you don't tell the story the right way, it can mess things up. I'm gonna be honest with you, like it could be bad, but given Infinite, I don't know. I don't know. And plus, Halo, didn't they gut it, the 343 Studios, and these are different people. Like, I hope they can do it, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm really looking forward to Campaign Evolved. And if they nail this, bro, like, oh my god, I really want Halo to come back to the forefront. I love Halo, and I don't like seeing it where it's been the last like 10 years. And like, I really hope that they really nail this project.
The original script and its cinematics is not something that can be done just by opening a thesaurus and changing some words around. Jen Taylor's performance as Cortana in the remake feels like she's being directed to be more uppity, sassy, with a tinge of overconfidence.
Interesting. I underestimated the Covenant's understanding of Halo's subsystems. Interesting. I underestimated the Covenant's understanding of Halo's subsystems.
Whereas in the original, you know, she was a strategic AI, a woman in charge who's calling the shots. And so I feel like there's a very specific vibe that she has with Combat Evolved.
There's no time. Get out of here, find keys, stop him. Before it's too late!
If you're not replacing Master Chief and Cortana, you better not replace Sergeant Johnson. Bring David Scully back in here, otherwise I will cry myself to sleep with my copy of Halo Combat Evolved and my needler. And they've also announced they're going to have 3 brand new prequel missions, a potentially massive W. And one way to achieve that W would be to involve Johnson in the plot a lot more. Johnson's presence in 2 and 3 specifically added irreplaceable charm.
Please, don't shake the light bulb.
I think even if the gameplay turns out to be unfaithful to Combat Evolved and worse than it, surely they can't make the story worse too.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
One thing I did also like is that Chief didn't talk at all during gameplay. This is a good sign that they understand the role that Master Chief played in the first game, which was—
he is a husk. He's a big green suit of armor that you move around.
I think he's a soldier. Like, that's what he was. In the first game, he was a soldier. He did not talk unless it was necessary for him to say things. I felt like over the course of between Halo 1, 3, and going forward, he's opened up more as a character. This is mainly due to Cortana. But in the original game, he was like this, like he was bred from a child to be a soldier, and like he only spoke when he felt like it was needed to be talked, bro. That's why I liked about the original Halo game.
The potential is huge with this CE remake. And why just leave it as a campaign remake? I mean, leaving out multiplayer would have been like leaving out Separate Ways or the Mercenaries arcade mode in RE4. Are you remaking half of it? Why not all? Can I have a full pizza? No? Only half?
I want Halo 1. I'm playing Halo 1, you know?
Unless they announce multiplayer somewhere down the line, this will be a fat L to take. But here's an idea. If you're not going to do multiplayer, you could replace it with other things. There's a Halo 1 mod where you get to play as an elite zealot commander during the events of the game. Across Truth and Reconciliation, 2 Betrayals, you get to kill Marines, take part in all these big battles from the Covenant perspective. Oh shit, look, it's Johnson. Look, it's Johnson in this Halo mod. I'm just saying, people have been talking about the return of playable elites for a very long time. Campaign DLC, you didn't deliver that with Infinite? I'm just saying. Another thing I really
could be a cool
loved
thing to
were
see.
the cutscenes.
Right.
Ignoring some of the performance issues, which hopefully can be ironed out. It reminded me of the Halo 2 anniversary blur cutscenes, which to this day is the best Halo has ever looked, and that shit was made back in 2014. Anything that replicates that style, that look, that feel, I am 100% down for, so long as it retains the same vibe and atmosphere of Combat Evolved. I love how this looks, and I think they're on the right track, but they're not using the right music here. In fact, I think they overlaid 2 songs on top of each other.
Right, they did.
Alright, so now we're moving on to the negatives. Part of the reason Halo's art style, music, and atmosphere is so legendary, iconic, memorable, how the series created its identity is because we were given moments in the game to take all of that in. When I watch that gameplay reveal and I see the person playing it sprint through the levels, it almost signals to me like, hey, those people that worked on the music, those people that worked on the art assets, the level design, the atmosphere, the Foley art, none of that shit matters. None of that is worth slowing the game down for the player to take in, which obviously there's a reason why some former Halo developers are not happy with the direction that the Combat Evolved the Remake has gone in, because you're essentially sprinting through this part that you are meant to take in and absorb. You're meant to absorb the moment. But by sprinting through it, you're like saying, okay, this isn't interesting. The work you did trying to build some kind of tone, emotion, or vibe in this part of the game, that doesn't matter. We want the players to get through that as fast as possible.
Why don't you, there you go, I was gonna say, why don't you speed things up here a little bit?
Adding sprint to Halo Combat Evolved is the equivalent of fast forwarding through all of the tension and build-up scenes in a horror movie just to watch all the parts with the alien in it.
And another thing too, sprinting, especially in like encounters with like say hunters, like it's gonna make it so easy to avoid them. The beauty about those hunter encounters was that if you made a mistake and you got too close, you were gonna get swatted with that shield. You were going to die. But you running is like they go over to hit your shield. Nope, you can't get me. Nah, bro. That like, why are you adding running to the campaign, bro? Like, it makes no sense for the original Halo to have that ability. I get that you want 4-player campaign and you're making the levels bigger, but like it really takes away from that. So I think I'm gonna keep that turned off. I'm not putting that on. I don't want to be able to run through the campaign because, like I said, like Ackerman said, like yo, the level designs are forwarder. It's so alien that it was such an interesting kind of like thing that they did with all the different type of level designs and the music for the Q fights with the hunters and stuff. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I prefer not to have the sprint, but you know, whatever. I guess this is more to appease the newer Halo fans, which, you know, it's fine if you want to keep it on for your playthrough, fine. But like for OGs, I feel like at least they give the option to keep it off. You know what I mean?
Oh, why watch this guy look around for some stupid cat? Can I get to the part where the alien's on screen? Because that's the best part.
Why don't you speed things up here a little bit?
Everything before that and in between that doesn't matter.
Sprint is the square peg being shoved in the round hole. It's the piece of the puzzle that just doesn't fit because it's from a different fucking puzzle.
To quickly summarize, sprint does not need to be in this at all whatsoever. I have literally, as I played it, I saw zero benefit to it. As I watched somebody else play it, I see zero benefit to it. I see only negatives. I think Halo Studios is only adding sprint because it's been 18 years since the last Halo game without sprint, and they don't know what else to do.
Some people just really don't want sprint in their Halo experience, so
and for those people saying, just have a no sprint playlist.
Good news is that'll also be something you can disable if you want to.
Literally impossible. The game is built around it. Removing it means nothing would work. And honestly, it's important for the game to play consistently across all game modes.
It feels like sprint is a mechanic that the series has had to consistently make sacrifices and concessions in order to include, just because the broader audience will think the game is too slow.
Right.
Maybe the broader audience is stupid. But people that like Halo 1 have good taste.
In Halo, you never put your gun down. Maps were designed with movement and combat built into the same gameplay. Now in Halo, you have the shooting part and the running around part. You see, they didn't add sprint to Halo. They put sprint at the forefront of the entire experience and were forced to build a game around it, because it absolutely had to be in the game for some fucking reason.
We will make some of the spaces larger. We also want to make sure we're authentic to the encounters themselves. So it's a balancing act between that difficulty tuning and, you know, making those encounters the right size for the right space.
It's like if a car company came out with this new car. The car wasn't made for the road it was driving on. It was obstructive. It took up multiple lanes. It was way too big. Just flat out didn't work. Now imagine, rather than simply removing the car from the road system that it wasn't built for, they decided to change everything around it just so the new car could work.
I just feel like there are so many problems you are going to introduce to the remake, unnecessary problems, if you keep sprint. Making it a toggle is just a half-assed, lazy, non-committal way to say, like, yeah, you can play this game with or without sprint, but we're not going to really balance or build the game to accommodate either mechanic. So it's a lazy cop-out.
But main thing I wanted to just reiterate, since it's such a loved topic across the community, is there is an option to disable it if you don't want it. If you don't want it in your game, you don't have to have it. So it's all about just having choice.
That's the problem right there. Again, you didn't just sit there and explain to me my sprint is good. All you did was tell me about how it's just not quite as bad as it used to be. There was nothing in there that said this makes the game inherently better. All I heard was a million things that had to change and be implemented for the sake of one mechanic that didn't work. So rather than accept the fact that it didn't work in Halo, they changed Halo. Now Halo isn't Halo anymore.
That being said, some people might bring up that RE4 remake ditching the standard tank controls of the original in favor of being able to move and shoot. But the thing is, the enemies in RE4 had their movement buffed to accommodate that. Ironically, the enemies in the Halo CE remake have had their movement completely nerfed into the ground. And we will get to that later. But also think about the Flood. The Flood is scary because they are essentially a tsunami of an infection. They're scary because they sprint towards you. They're mindless drones attacking every living thing in sight. To be able to just turn around and sprint and outrun them, it defeats the entire purpose, the entire reason why the Flood are such a great enemy to fight in the first game. They don't follow the conventional strategies that the Covenant employ. They are simply Zerglings. They rush you. And so adding sprint could also fuck that up. It could fuck up so many other things. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Another thing, the sound effects were pretty bad.
Yeah. So I said pre-release
did not
work in
sound
progress.
all that great. All I need to do to illustrate this is compare the sound effects for the Magnum now and what they sounded like in the original. Boom, there you go. I don't need to elaborate on this point. We can move on. Hit markers and bloom. Once again, these modern gaming mechanics seem to be creeping their way into an all-time classic from 2001. Halo established modern mechanics like the two-weapon system. It doesn't need to adopt these other modern mechanics that Call of Duty popularized. Stop trying to do this. This is a campaign remake. We don't need fucking hit markers. I feel like having hit markers is a lazy solution instead of programming visually interesting feedback and reactions from the aliens as you shoot them. When you shoot the elites, their shields don't glow, their bodies don't glow. It's very weird and jarring. I suppose it's not a big deal if you can disable hit markers, but I'd rather the Covenant flail around, glow, and spurt blood when I shoot them as opposed to just seeing lines on my screen. Okay, this is actually really funny that I noticed this, but the reticle in this part is highlighted over the invisible elites. Which, if you don't know, kind of nullifies the whole point of active camo if the user interface reveals them to you anyways. The original Halo, your reticle only turned red once you shot them enough and they were revealed. You can literally see the person playing this forget that there's invisible elites in this room because he's sprinting through it, thinking this is a nothing burger worth skipping through.
Why don't you speed things up here a little?
To be fair, the person who was playing combat, the campaign evolved, was pissing me off when I was doing the reaction because it was like they were new to Halo. Like they never played the original game because of the way that it was on easy mode. First of all, like, bro, I was frustrated because he was trying to kill the hunters in the car instead of jumping out and throwing hands with the hunters. Like, come on now. Like,
and he only realizes there's enemies here because the reticle turns red.
Right,
so
right.
this is a surprise and encounter that is quite literally ruined on screen in this gameplay reveal. And I'm kind of flabbergasted that like nobody thought to replay this section. Or the CE remake also felt like a quarter or a half of an asset flip. This part is very weird. Like I said, I've never had sex before.
Yeah, the infinite
there's
stuff.
a lot of elements in the remake I immediately recognized were not from Halo CE and were pulled from later games. Effectively, a way to modernize a masterpiece and a classic that doesn't need to be modernized.
Right.
It needs to be remade. Sprinting with a Magnum gave me visions of Halo 5 because I always thought it looked kind of dorky to just do like this shit. Like, what is he running, a marathon? I don't know. I think it's way more badass for Chief to just be like,
right.
I don't put my gun down for nothing. I saw what I thought looked like Halo 4 or 5 grunts. Grunts are supposed to look
True, like, well, if you're running with a gun, why the hell would you hold it like this while you're running instead of just like taking it like this? You know what I mean? Like, you never see, even if you watch like movies, in the movies you don't ever see them run with their guns like this. They're holstered a gun while they're running, or they have their hand, or they're going through the rooms like this. They're running with like on a fast pace, like kind of not really a sprint, but like just walking really fast. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why the animations in Halo.
like this in Combat Evolved, not like this. Please don't reuse these old models. I hope they're placeholders. Don't reuse this shit. That's not Combat Evolved. You're remaking Combat Evolved. The Forerunner art style also feels more like Halo 4, Halo 5, which I don't necessarily dislike in those games. It's just that this is the first Halo ring we went to, and it should look like it. It shouldn't look like Requiem. Installation 04 needs to appear as though these structures have been untouched by sentient life for thousands of years. There was a sort of liminal spaces vibe to a lot of the levels. It made you feel like you were really exploring a man-made alien world, something that tried to appear like it sprung from nature but was weird and synthetic. The Forerunner structures in the remake look too sharp, polished, and clean. A prime example is this hatch that the Pelican flies through at the end of the mission on Silent Cartographer. Why is it, if it's a hatch, why is it designed with this big ass triangle? It just seems completely impractical. Again, I have never had sex before, but I do know my Halo Combat Evolved details like no other motherfucker out there. A lot of Forerunner structures in the remake, they look too sharp, too polished, too clean. They haven't been ravaged by the essence of time. What you're exploring on Installation 04 are essentially, it's an abandoned imitation of a real world.
The weather patterns here seem natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning.
Look, I guess the point is that a CE remake needs to look like Combat Evolved and not Halo 4 and 5. I just think that goes without saying. The Dead Space remake looked like Dead Space. It didn't look like Dead Space 3. It looked like Dead Space 1.
Right.
Hit markers also look like they're from Halo 5. The Hunter melee attacks I also recognized from H5. AI is broken in the remake as it currently stands. That needs to be fixed. That's like one of the biggest issues I witnessed. The elites just stand there waiting for you to shoot them, making gameplay incredibly awkward. Like, look at this.
Now I think about it, I didn't even see any of the elites roll out of the way when you were fighting, when they were fighting them in the 13-minute demo. That was one of the things that used to, like, as a kid, used to get on my nerves, was when we go, oh, and then they slip to the side, like, bro. Oh man, I hope it's in there, bro. If they're not rolling to the side, I'm gonna be annoyed.
Waiting for you to shoot them, making gameplay incredibly awkward.
Right.
Like, look at this. Why is this elite fist bumping? Is he trying to kill me, or is he at a Metallica concert? I don't know. Why is he doing that? Elites in Combat Evolved didn't do dumb shit like this. They were trying to kill you.
They would have rolled out of the way.
They would do those, like, those big, whoa. They would do those ducks. They would fucking barrel roll to avoid grenades and vehicles. They don't do that in the remake, as far as I've seen. The gold zealot
they gotta
looking
change that.
Ripped from Halo Infinite. Again, not a big fan of that in CE. I hope these are all placeholders for the real models. The physics and chain explosions. Oh, one of the best parts of Combat Evolved is just how fucking goofy the physics and the chain reactions were.
Beautiful.
Jarvis, roll the clip. No other game has this. This is a massive strength that Combat Evolved had over all of the other Halo games released after it. You gotta hone in on the things that make Combat Evolved so special and awesome.
Right, go flying.
You know, these ridiculous chain reactions led to some pretty funny moments where you could launch yourself. I mean, it's the whole reason why the Sputnik skull exists. It's just fun to blast shit and watch it get launched 800 meters into the air. We need that. Now, vehicles. The Warthog felt too smooth. In CE, the Warthog had a very specific...
Nothing. Whoever was driving the Warthog was getting me mad, bro. Because they did not know how to drive. And I would have booted them out of the seat, bro. Let me drive, dog. You're pissing me off.
Weight to its controls. You would kind of have to plan. You would have to drift properly if you wanted to run over elites and grunts because they could dive out of the way. So when you did line it up, it was satisfying as fuck to splatter elites and enemies with it. Like the physics and explosions feeling very generic, the way the Warthog handled in the CE remake, I felt was too easy. Not enough grit, not enough weight. I'm also realizing a lot of stuff I love about CE now that it's been removed from the remake, at least for now. Again, a lot of these details are nitpicks, but 1,000 blocks stacked on top of each other builds a tower. It's in the little details where Bungie showed just how dedicated they were to their vision, how well they understood it. And if I understand why these elements make Halo CE feel so great to play, then Halo Studios needs to understand that as well. The Warthog sections were ridiculously easy. There was basically no challenge to them. Marines were way too accurate and lethal. And the biggest part, elites did not seem to dodge or jump out of the way from grenades or the Warthog.
Right, like what is that?
I think elites were designed with the perfect amount of agility and bulk. They could get out of dodge really quick, but they could also stand their ground and they could take cover and they could hide. All of these things that made elites fun and interesting to fight, I really did not feel like were in the remake. It kind of just felt like they were just a chess piece locked in place, firing 3 bullets at you. It felt like they weren't programmed to avoid or react to the player's actions. I mean, look at this. Look at this. The Covenant have no ability to avoid the Warthog. Like I was saying with RE4 remake, they buffed the movement of the Ganados. They nerfed the movement of the Covenant.
The one thing I will say though is that like it comes out next year. There's no release date, so hopefully Halo Studios, I'm pretty sure they do. They always like game studios usually check out what the fans are saying. They'll listen to what everything that all the creators of Halo are talking about, and they'll go and fix that. Like especially someone like Ackman, who's super knowledgeable about Halo, and like, you know, I think a lot of these points he's making are good. And I'm gonna be honest, some of them I didn't even realize in the trailer. Honestly, when I'm just doing the reaction to the trailer, I was just kind of hyped that the Halo game is coming out. But yeah, now that he's breaking stuff down, the original one, yeah, I can see there's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed before the game actually goes live.
Here, and it with sprint and how well the Warthog handles, it totally fucks the gameplay. I mean, check out this doofus. The guy playing this just ran into him, and he's not even looking at Chief. I don't know what the hell happened here, but you know, I'm seeing this vehicle jank, and once again, it reminds me of the vehicle jank in Halo 5. And right here, you can see how these problems are compounded. When the Warthog has such fast acceleration, such precise turning and handling, and the enemies are not programmed to react in time to dodge it, how utterly easy it becomes, especially with the super accurate Marines. So in some of these encounters with the Warthog, all Halo Studios has managed to do is completely trivialize the challenge in these sections, ignoring the reasons why they were designed the way they were. And I know it sounds like I'm shitting on it a lot, but trust me folks, I do want this Combat Evolved remake to succeed. Talking about level design, again, I could do a whole video talking about level design in CE, but things like removing trees that block the path into the island so you couldn't bring the Warthog in there. That was intentional by the developers. You were not meant to bring the Warthog through there. Removing these trees and allowing the Warthog to be driven up ignores the intended gameplay experience the original team had when developing. That's what I'm saying.
He was trying to just kill him without getting out of the Warthog. That's what pissed me off.
Consistently signals in my mind that maybe there's some people in charge of this remake that don't understand why the game was made a certain way, why parts of the level design exist as they do, why enemies had the ability to dodge vehicles and grenades. And if you don't understand what it is you're remaking, should you be remaking it? These are questions that Halo Studios is going to have to answer. These are the tough questions they're going to have to answer. I mean, the blueprint to a successful Halo game has actually been laid out by the developers across multiple Vidocs, videos, and interviews. Shit, there's some on my channel. You can watch those to understand what these guys were thinking when they made one of the greatest video games of all time.
I kind of want to go back and watch those interviews because I don't know if I ever really watched them. Like, even as a kid, the documentaries, I don't think I watched those. I might have to check those out.
And my advice is listen to the experts. Listen to the guys who made the shit you're remaking. If you just completely ignore their feedback and their input, then you don't even know what you're remaking, and that poses a very, very huge problem. Don't try to fix what was never broken and expand on what was great. Replicate the success of the Dead Space and RE4 remake. By changing these aspects of the game, you are altering someone else's vision, and it's no wonder why some of the former Halo.
You weren't supposed to be able to take the Warhawk up the steamroll, the hunters. I intentionally placed rocks in the way, so you had to fight them on foot when you can just smash the crates out of the way. It wrecks the encounters. But the worst part, they put trees in the landing area of the woohoo jump lane.
Developers like Jamie Greismer have had so much to say on Twitter regarding this remake. A lot of things he says I agree with. It makes me appreciate the CE.
Here's okay. On further analysis, I'm sure it's because the vehicles take damage, and so you're just likely to destroy the hog as get it over the rocks. If anything, that makes it worse because none of the vehicle tricks are going to work anymore.
Level design even more than I previously had, because there's a level of intentionality behind the design choices that I, as a gamer and a player, never thought about. But that is, at its core, what made Halo so special. And if there's one video I could point you to illustrate this better than any other, it's this Halo CE campaign commentary with Joe Staten, Jason Jones, and Marty O'Donnell. And in it, they are so critical of each other's work, and that elevated their standards.
Little AI walk. And cue the custom animation.
Why is there a stone here?
He's got a big backpack.
What? Why is there a stone there?
Well, there's not a stone there anymore.
They wanted to impress each other. That was the culture of Bungie.
Yeah.
That was the culture of Halo.
Bro, I felt like back in the day, like a lot of the game studios, like they used to be competitive with each other, but now like these studios have gotten so enormous, like hundreds and hundreds of people working on a game that like, I don't know, bro. Like these games end up looking so generic nowadays because they got so many different people working on it instead of like people who actually care. Like when you have hundreds of people working on a game, I can't imagine like you really care all that much about a project. Like I don't know, bro. It's just weird.
Everyone working on that game wanted to make something better than what their coworker was working on, and that's the truth of it. That's what made Halo great. And
that's what I'm saying. Like it's more it's more personal when you have like there's a group of friends you're working on a project with, because you're able to look at each other's work and kind of like, you know, mess around and hang and have a good time while you're working, but be competitive and like, hey, I can do this better than you, that type thing. You know what I mean? With the amount of workers in these Halo studio in Halo and other kind of game studios, you can't have that kind of like friendly banter that you had back then, because there's so many different employees working on one single game. Like it's crazy. You like Mortal Kombat. Take Mortal Kombat, for example. Mortal Kombat has hundreds and hundreds of workers working on one game, and it still sucks.
It was the people. You don't understand the intention the people had, you won't understand why it was great.
Right.
Another issue I can't believe has been reintroduced into the series is ammo limitations. Plasma pistol in the original, it took 5 shots
the assault
to drain
rifle didn't have 60 ammo
of the weapon's battery. Now it takes 2 shots to drain 1% of the battery.
That's crazy.
Why? What have you done other than made this weapon less fun to use because it runs out of ammo faster? You have only made the game less fun with this decision. Please don't do this. If you look at this clip, it takes 10% of the plasma rifle battery for the player to kill 2 grunts on normal difficulty.
That's
please
horrible.
Don't do this.
Would it help if I said please?
Why don't? Don't ruin the game by making the weapons like Halo 4 where you're just constantly fucking throwing them away because they only pack like 3 bullets in them. The CE plasma pistol also did not drain energy when you charge the shot. Why add this? It makes the weapon more annoying to use. And holy shit, look at how fast that battery drains. Please stop. Stop ruining the weapons. The Magnum is supposed to have 132 rounds, not 96. Why? Huh? The assault rifle has 32 rounds. These are just really weird mistakes to be making. I do not understand. I cannot understand the logic that's behind nerfing the ability.
I feel like they're using the modern like infinite ammo and weapon and kind of things with the Halo campaign Evolved. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Go back to Combat Evolved stuff. Like if you're gonna remake a game, remake it exactly as it is, like better graphics, add stuff that's gonna make the game fun and engaging to play, but don't change stuff that don't need to get changed. Like
to have fun.
Having more rounds in Halo Combat Evolved made sense too, because of the amount of enemies you would have to fight, and it was just you. Like you didn't have anybody else with you, unless you were playing, split screen.
Shooting aliens in a game that revolutionized first-person shooting. Why do you want to make shooting aliens less fun by having the player run out of ammo more frequently? I've never understood that. In fact, this is such a major reason why I don't replay Halo 4 that much, and why the game is simply not that fun, is because your weapons run out of ammo after you kill 2 guys with them. It fucking sucks. And to see this problem reintroduced from 13 years ago is kind of baffling to me, I'll be honest. There's also no health packs, once again ignoring the intentional design behind the difficulty. Personally, CE has the perfect legendary difficulty in my opinion, large in part due to the extra buffer you get with that permanent health. You have a recharging shield and health that can only be refilled if you find a health pack. So it gave you this extra buffer that you could be more reckless, you could survive more shots, you could take more damage. And it made the gameplay much better because of it. This video has gone on long enough. I had a whole section talking about Halo coming to PlayStation and what that means, but let's jump straight to the conclusion. I know I was rather negative in this video, but like I said, this is a time to give constructive feedback and criticism on one of the greatest video games of all time, a remake of it. It has to live up to that, otherwise I'm gonna be a sad panda. In conclusion, there are definitely some warning signs, some potentially lethal red flags, sprint, sound effects, hate to admit it, the art style, the AI. There's a lot of work to do on this remake, in my opinion. Yeah. Some of the broad strokes are there, and I see the tapestry and all the beauty that could be filled in. I just hope they make it there. And if I'm going to be honest, if the game continues in the direction that it's going, I will be supremely disappointed if they are not able to course correct some of these decisions. Ultimately, the original vision of Halo CE and those that created it, that needs to be respected and understood at all costs. Otherwise, all of the dominoes around this thing are going to topple over, and then we'll just be right back to thinking this is 343 Industries not understanding Halo for the 5th time. Right? We don't need to go back there. We don't need to be making mistakes and bringing back bad habits that we left in the past. This is supposed to be a fresh start for Halo. You rebranded the studios. Let's treat it like that. This is meant to come out in 2026. That could be a full year from now. Personally, I think they need to take their time, get this one right. I said that about Infinite, but if you need to give this the Sonic the Hedgehog rework treatment in order to get the aesthetics right and to get the feel right, I say do it. I have very little faith in Microsoft as they manage their Xbox products, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. So there's room for a bit of healthy skepticism, but also anticipation. My timelines have been filled with people talking about Halo for better or for worse, but in all honesty, it's nice to see Halo in the spotlight being talked about, because that means Halo still matters to people, and it still matters to me. I mean, who knows if this YouTube thing would have taken off had it not been for Halo 5. Maybe I'd still be washing dishes. And Halo fans, speak up in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on a remake. What's your favorite thing about it? What's your least favorite thing about it? Okay, so let's break down everything we saw in the video, right? So, let me change the screen just for this section here, right? So, I'm gonna be honest, like, there is a lot of things I honestly, like, I'm not as, like,
in depth about like certain structures and stuff like that with Halo. Honestly, I love the overall feel of Halo, and especially like the Combat Evolved was like my first. It wasn't my first shooter, but it was my favorite shooter. Like Combat Evolved, I played through that campaign so many times growing up, especially with my brothers and my uncles, and like, you know, I don't want them to do what they did with Infinite, right? If you need more time, take more time. I'm at that point where like I would much rather wait for a game than have a game come out and it have mad bugs and have to keep patching stuff over time. Like I hate that. And like, you know, as a Mortal Kombat content creator, like that's what pisses me the most off about what happened with MK1. It came out in unfinished state. It should have been delayed for at least 6 months and updated like the way it should have been, but instead it came out 6 months too early, and it was bad. It was just a bad game when it first launched. Now the same thing's happening with the Mortal Kombat Legacy collections, a lot of bug issues and stuff like that. So if you need to take more time to get things right, do that. On top of that, going back to what Ackman is saying about level design, character movements, AI stuff, like the AI getting hit by a Warthog and not reacting to the player, and instead just he's like he's looking at a ghost or something. Like I don't know what that was. The Warthog also being too smooth is a major issue. Removing certain things in a map when it's meant for the player to fight on foot, which is why I had such a big issue with the guy fighting the hunters on a vehicle and my reaction to it. What else? There's so much to break down in this thing, and I think Ackman does a great job in doing that. Also, guys, if you guys can go to Ackman's channel, honestly, you guys probably already did, but if you haven't, go like this video, bro. This was a great video. Like honestly, Ackman's I loved his dude's videos. Like he makes such great entertaining videos. Like I want to get there one day, but you know, one step at a time. But like honestly, I'm super pumped for Halo. I'm thinking about doing my own video for Halo. Like I might not, you know, I just gotta find the time to do it. Like maybe I'm off tomorrow, so we'll see. Maybe I'll make something for tomorrow. But anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on the campaign, Halo campaign Evolved? I'll tell you my favorite thing about the trailer. Was seeing Forehammer. Seeing Forehammer was awesome, bro. Like I always wondered what she looked like, and like just being able to finally see her was super cool. And the thing I disliked the most about the Halo campaign Evolved was the running. The running is such a bad move. I hope they don't add it to the game. I hope they hear what everyone's saying and just take it out automatically. Running does not go in Combat Evolved. If you put it in the future games, whatever. You built the game to be around that. Even though I'm not a huge fan of it, please take it out. Please take running out, because it does not need to be in Halo. It literally detracts from like certain encounters, like you saw with Invisible Man, where he didn't even know that he was there until he glowed red. Like, I was like, dude, what are we doing with these things? Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you go like and subscribe to Ackman's channel, because he's fire, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.